Hi everyone, here's what's bothering me today. The leader of the official opposition here in Canada, the leader of the Conservative Party, Erin O'Toole, is in a lot of hot water at the moment because he claimed during a Zoom call at some little university that the chief architects of the residential school system here in Canada were actually, it was with the best of intentions, right? They really only wanted to educate the poor things. Now, those of you who have seen my Dark Side of Canadian History playlist know this is not the case because there are two separate videos there that touch on that subject and point it out for how blatantly wrong it is. But why don't we just ask the chief architect of the residential school system what he thought about why and how these systems had to work? When the school is on the reserve, the child lives with its parents who are savages, and though he may learn to read and write, his habits and training mode of thought are Indian. He is simply a savage who could read and write. It has been strongly impressed upon myself, as head of the department, that Indian children should be withdrawn as much as possible from the parental influence, and the only way to do that would be to put them in central training industrial schools where they will acquire the habits and modes of thought of white men. Sir John A. Macdonald, 1879. So, no, the residential school system was not set up just to educate. It was to deliberately supplant a people and a culture. Various other statistical groups or government agencies also hoped that in the 1920s, that if these residential schools were successful, Indigenous people and their cultures would cease to be a recognizable thing within a century. Thank God we're in 2020 and they're still around and still distinct. But that was the intent. The intent was to completely eradicate these people as a distinct group of people or various groups of people. That is genocide. And as I pointed out, straight from the horse's mouth, the purpose of residential schools was to separate children from their parents to prevent any kind of real traditional Aboriginal or Indigenous influence. It wasn't about education. And what makes this so terrible is that this Zoom call that Erin O'Toole is in hot water over, it came from a Zoom call about how conservatives can win against liberals with this narrative of residential schools, which just really shows how out to goddamn lunch these people are. They think that there's any possible argument to have over the attempted genocide of our Indigenous people. They think somehow that, you can actually fight back on this. It was actually just about education. No, the first prime minister, who you all love to simp for, he said himself that it was not about education. It was about the systemic eradication of a people and culture across Canada. Whether it's the Mi'kmaq in the east, or the Haida in the west, or the Sioux and Blackfeet and Cree and Inuit and Dene. We tried to systematically eradicate and genocide away through cultural suppression various Indigenous groups who showed us how to survive in this land in the first place, how to navigate it, and then they also helped fight and died defending this land. And any conservative who decides that there's any possible argument against this needs to give their head a shake. And the fact that so many of them are out there who exist today and still believe that there wasn't genocide is absolutely what's bothering me today.